If you are over 60 years old, there is one seemingly harmless habit that could be silently increasing your stroke risk while you rest peacefully at night. There are no warning signs, no discomfort, nothing at all. One moment everything feels normal, and suddenly you cannot move your arm properly, your words become unclear, or you lose your balance completely. As someone who specializes in brain health, I have witnessed far too many senior citizens experience this devastating reality. The shocking truth is that this does not happen because of cigarette smoking, unhealthy eating habits, or lack of physical activity. Instead, it occurs because of something they believed was actually beneficial for their health. We are talking about vitamins? Yes, you heard that correctly. Vitamins themselves can be the culprit. Every single day, millions of older adults consume nutritional supplements with the hope of strengthening their bones, increasing their energy levels, or maintaining their cognitive abilities. While many supplements do provide benefits, certain ones, particularly when taken in excessive amounts or at inappropriate times, can quietly endanger your brain health. Today, I want to guide you through 5 widely used vitamins that may elevate your stroke risk, cause brain hemorrhages, or trigger dangerous blood pressure fluctuations, especially during those vulnerable early morning hours when your brain is most susceptible to damage. If you have ever consumed vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin B6, vitamin A, or niacin supplements, this information could potentially save your life. Before we dive deeper, I would love to understand your perspective. Have you ever wondered whether your vitamin routine might be causing harm rather than helping? Share your thoughts by typing 1 in the comments section. If you are eager to discover more, type 0 if this concept is completely new to you. And if brain health is important to you or someone you care about deeply, please remember to like this video and subscribe to Balance Health for honest, science-based guidance created specifically for older adults. Now, let us begin with the most startling discovery of all concerning vitamin D. What you do not understand about this popular supplement could transform a peaceful night of sleep into a life-threatening situation. You have probably been told that vitamin D is excellent for bone health, mood improvement, and even immune system support. All of these claims are accurate when used in appropriate moderation. However, here is something that most senior citizens are never informed about. Excessive amounts of vitamin D, especially when consumed during nighttime hours, can quietly increase your stroke risk significantly. I understand this information sounds absolutely shocking, but I have witnessed this dangerous scenario unfold with my own patients. Consider the case of Mr. Walter, a 74-year-old retired Navy veteran. He was mentally sharp, highly disciplined, and took his health responsibilities very seriously. Every morning, following his precise routine, he would arrange his supplements in a neat row, including a 10,000 IU vitamin D capsule that he purchased without prescription. He genuinely believed he was protecting his skeletal system from deterioration. Unfortunately, what he did not realize was that this seemingly beneficial daily routine was gradually pushing his body toward a silent catastrophe. One morning, his wife discovered him in a confused state. He could not articulate his words clearly, and his right arm hung completely limp at his side. He had suffered a stroke overnight, without any warning whatsoever. His laboratory results revealed dangerously elevated calcium levels, severely stiffened arteries, and blood pressure readings that were completely erratic. The primary cause was vitamin D toxicity poisoning his system. You must understand that when you consume high doses of vitamin D, particularly without proper medical supervision, it causes calcium to accumulate excessively in your bloodstream. Your body becomes overwhelmed and does not know how to process all that extra calcium effectively. Consequently, it deposits the excess calcium directly into your arterial walls, making them rigid and narrow. Can you guess where this dangerous process leads? A blood clot traveling straight to your brain tissue. As we advance in age, our arteries naturally lose their flexibility and elasticity. Dehydration, poor sleep quality, and a calcium spike during nighttime hours, and you have created the perfect conditions for stroke occurrence. The most frightening aspect is that there are absolutely no warning signs beforehand. You retire to bed feeling completely normal and wake up with your entire life forever altered. Here is something you probably do not know about over-the-counter vitamin D supplements available in the United States. Many contain far more than older adults actually require for optimal health. 5,000 IU, 10,000 IU, and even higher concentrations are commonly available. People consume these potent doses daily, mistakenly believing that more is automatically better for their health. However, scientific studies demonstrate that even 2,000 IU daily may be excessive if you are not actually deficient in vitamin D. Let me state this information clearly and directly. If you are currently taking vitamin D supplements, especially in combination with calcium or heart medications, it is absolutely crucial to have your blood levels monitored regularly through proper testing. Always consume vitamin D during morning hours, never before bedtime. Do you know exactly how many IU your current supplement contains? Share your vitamin D dosage by typing D in the comments section if you are taking this supplement right now. Let us start an important conversation about this topic. If this information made you reconsider your current routine, please give this video a like to help other people discover this vital information as well. Now, if that revelation surprised you significantly, just wait until you hear about the next vitamin. This particular supplement is one that many people consume specifically for heart health benefits. However, in older adults, it can actually lead to something even more dangerous than blood clots. It can cause brain bleeding, which is often more devastating than clots themselves. Let us discuss vitamin E in detail. Vitamin E is frequently called the heart helper supplement. If you have been taking it consistently for years, you are definitely not alone in this practice. Many people over 60 years old add vitamin E to their daily supplement routine, hoping it will support their cardiovascular system, improve blood circulation, and possibly even enhance memory function and skin health. However, here is the critical information that does not appear anywhere on the bottle labeling. Excessive amounts of vitamin E, especially when combined with commonly prescribed heart medications, can significantly increase your risk of bleeding inside the brain. Yes, this can happen even if you are following all other health recommendations perfectly. Let me share a story that I will never forget from my medical practice. Mrs. Evelyn Brooks was 81 years old, a retired librarian from Ohio. She was mentally sharp, wonderfully witty, and always carried a book with her wherever she went. She had been diagnosed with a heart valve issue and was prescribed warfarin, which is a commonly used blood-thinning medication. Her doctors monitored her condition very closely and carefully. Her blood work results were consistently fine, and her blood pressure remained stable throughout her treatment. However, one day she purchased a bottle of natural vitamin E that she saw advertised in a health magazine. Each capsule contained 800 IU of vitamin E, she told me later. I thought it would help improve my memory and circulation naturally. 3 weeks after she began taking the supplement, she was rushed to the emergency room with a severe headache, mental confusion, and persistent vomiting. A brain scan revealed a hemorrhagic stroke, which means bleeding was occurring inside her brain tissue. This was not caused by high blood pressure or a physical fall, but because the combination of warfarin and high-dose vitamin E had made her blood far too thin to clot properly. Just one fragile blood vessel in her brain gave way under the pressure. Here is what most people do not realize about vitamin E supplements. Vitamin E in high doses functions like a natural anticoagulant medication. This means it significantly slows down your blood's ability to form clots when needed. If you are already taking aspirin, Plavix, or any other blood-thinning medication, and then add vitamin E to your routine, your risk of internal bleeding quietly increases dramatically, especially in delicate brain tissue where even a small bleed can steal your speech, your memory, or your ability to walk independently. Here is an even more alarming fact. The recommended daily intake for older adults is just 15 milligrams. which equals approximately 22 EU. Yet, most supplements available on store shelves contain 200, 400, or even 1000 U per capsule. There are no clear warnings, no required consultations with healthcare providers, and many people consume them daily for years without understanding the risks. Mrs. Evelyn did survive a brain hemorrhage, but she now requires a walking cane for mobility support. Her short-term memory was never quite the same as it was before the incident. She told me through her tears, "I just wanted to help myself stay healthy. I did not know I was actually doing harm to my body." That conversation breaks my heart because she represents so many other seniors facing similar situations. Too many older adults assume that if something is labeled as a vitamin, it must automatically be safe for consumption. However, the truth is that not every vitamin is safe, especially when you are taking heart medications or blood pressure treatments. You absolutely must consult with your doctor before adding any new supplements to your routine. Now, if the possibility of brain bleeding was not frightening enough, there is another vitamin that people commonly take for nerve support and energy enhancement that can quietly damage your nervous system, sometimes permanently and irreversibly. Let us talk about vitamin B6 and its potential dangers. Vitamin B6 is often marketed as a nerve support supplement or brain booster. You might have seen it in those bottles at the pharmacy claiming to help with energy levels, mental focus, or even memory enhancement. Perhaps someone even told you it is beneficial for aging nerve function. However, here is what most seniors are never warned about properly. Excessive amounts of vitamin B6 can actually damage your nerve tissue, sometimes permanently and without the possibility of full recovery. Let me tell you about Mr. Harold Jenkins and his experience. He was 76 years old, a retired truck driver from Kansas. He came to my office because his feet felt completely numb, his hands were constantly tingling, and his balance was noticeably deteriorating. Initially, he assumed it was simply the natural aging process. Then he started experiencing falls. First it happened once, then it occurred again shortly afterward. The third time he fell, he struck his head on the bathroom floor, which could have been fatal. When I carefully reviewed all of his supplements, I spotted the problem immediately. He had been taking a nerve support formula for over 1 full year. The product label claimed it supported brain health and improved circulation throughout the body. However, inside each tablet was 100 milligrams of vitamin B6, and he was consuming 2 tablets per day. That totaled 200 milligrams daily, which is over 10 times the recommended safe upper limit for seniors. Now, here is the truly scary part of this situation. Unlike some vitamins that flush out of your system through urine, vitamin B6 accumulates and builds up in your system over extended periods. In older adults, it can damage the protective coating around your nerve fibers, similar to stripping insulation off electrical wires. The devastating result includes tingling sensations, numbness, muscle weakness, tremors, and even confusion or memory problems. What makes this worse is that the symptoms develop slowly and gradually. Many people assume it is arthritis, normal aging, or early dementia, but the real cause could be vitamin B6 toxicity causing slow, preventable nerve damage from a pill that was supposed to help them. The damage can become permanent if it is not caught and addressed early enough. Mr. Jenkins was fortunate in his timing. We stopped the supplement immediately, and the damage did not progress further, but he still requires a walking cane for mobility. He no longer drives his vehicle anymore. He told me with deep regret, "I just wanted to protect my brain function. I did not realize I was actually poisoning it instead." Let us be completely clear about this issue. Vitamin B6 is indeed important for health, but only in very small amounts. Older adults only need approximately 2 to 10 milligrams per day, and this includes what you naturally obtain from food sources. However, many brain support pills sold online or in retail stores contain 50, 100, or even 200 milligrams per serving. That is not just unnecessary for health, It is genuinely dangerous for your nervous system. So, if you are taking any supplement that claims to support nerves, brain function, or energy levels, please check the label carefully and know your exact numbers. Share your experience by typing B6 in the comments if you have taken a supplement like this, or if you know someone who has had similar experiences. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, at least some vitamins like vitamin A must be completely safe since it is just for eyesight, right? Well, that assumption is not exactly correct, unfortunately. Let us discuss vitamin A and its hidden dangers. If you are like most older adults, you have probably heard that vitamin A is absolutely essential for maintaining good eyesight. Perhaps you have even taken it for immune system support, skin health maintenance, or because someone told you it helps you age more gracefully. However, here is what almost no one tells you, especially if you are over 60 years old. Excessive amounts of vitamin A do not just sit quietly and harmlessly in your system. Instead, it builds up and accumulates over time. Eventually, it can increase pressure inside your skull, mimicking stroke symptoms, damaging your vision permanently, and even affecting your brain function. Let me tell you about Miss Dorothy Simmons and her frightening experience. She was 79 years old, a retired piano teacher from Oregon. She absolutely loved music, taught students from her comfortable living room, and took great pride in maintaining her independence. However, one day, she started experiencing persistent headaches. Then came the blurred vision that would not improve. Next came the dizziness and slurred speech that worried her family tremendously. Her family feared the absolute worst possibility, thinking she was having a stroke. However, when we ran her comprehensive scans, something completely surprising showed up in the results. There was no blood clot and no bleeding detected. Instead, she had elevated intracranial pressure, which means too much pressure inside her brain. Her spinal fluid was backed up and not flowing properly. Tiny veins in her brain were under tremendous stress. The underlying cause was vitamin A toxicity from years of supplement use. She had been taking a high-dose skin and eye supplement for over 5 consecutive years, consuming nearly 10,000 IU per day, every single day, without realizing the potential consequences. Here is the key difference that makes vitamin A particularly dangerous. Vitamin A is fat-soluble, which means your body stores it in your liver, your tissues, and even your brain tissue. It does not flush out of your system like water-soluble vitamins, such as vitamin C or B vitamins. As we age, our liver function naturally slows down significantly. Therefore, that dangerous buildup happens even faster than it would in younger people. When there is too much vitamin A accumulated in the body, it can lead to a serious condition called pseudotumor cerebri, which creates symptoms identical to a false brain tumor. The symptoms include persistent headaches, blurred or double vision, dizziness, nausea, and even permanent vision loss or cognitive decline. The particularly tricky part is that many multivitamins already contain the full recommended dose of vitamin A. But some people like Miss Dorothy unknowingly double or triple that amount by adding skin care, eye health, or anti-aging formulas on top of their regular multivitamin. The safe upper limit for seniors is roughly 2,500 to 3,000 IU per day, and that should only be used if actually needed under proper medical supervision. However, many supplements sold online contain 5,000, 10,000 IU, or even more per serving. When taken daily for months or years, it becomes easy to understand how the damage builds up gradually and dangerously. Miss Dorothy is slowly recovering from her ordeal, but she now requires regular eye examinations, pressure monitoring, and balance therapy to maintain her stability. She told me with regret, "I thought I was doing something beneficial for my body. I never imagined it could actually hurt my brain function." That is exactly why I share her story with you today, because this is not about creating fear in anyone. This is about ensuring you have all the facts necessary to protect yourself and maintain your independence for as long as possible. Now, if you thought eyesight vitamins carried significant risks, Wait until you hear what happens when a vitamin meant for cholesterol and heart health suddenly causes dangerous spikes in your blood pressure. Let us talk about niacin, also known as vitamin B3, which is a vitamin you might have taken or been told to take for heart health benefits. Niacin is often praised as a natural method to lower cholesterol levels. Some doctors actually prescribe it for their patients. You will also find it in heart health supplements, energy drinks, and fortified breakfast cereals. However, here is what is often completely left out of the conversation, especially for older adults. Niacin in high doses can quietly cause serious fluctuations in your blood pressure and even trigger a stroke event. Let me introduce you to Mr. Frank Miller and his concerning experience. He is 82 years old, a retired postman from Florida. He came to see me with a strange combination of symptoms that puzzled everyone. He was experiencing hot flashes in his face, a pounding sensation in his chest, and dizziness that came and went every morning like clockwork. His wife thought it might be anxiety-related. His son blamed it on his blood pressure medications, but the real cause was something no one had thought to investigate properly. Frank had been taking an over-the-counter heart-healthy supplement consistently. The front label proudly stated, supports cholesterol and circulation naturally. However, the back label revealed 1,000 milligrams of niacin per serving. He was taking it twice daily without realizing the implications. That totaled 2,000 milligrams daily, which is over 60 times the amount most seniors actually need for optimal health. Here is what happens inside your body when you take niacin in high doses. It causes your blood vessels to suddenly expand and dilate, which is why your face may flush or feel uncomfortably warm. However, shortly after that expansion, those same vessels snap back and constrict tightly. That sudden tightening can raise your blood pressure dramatically, stress your heart muscle, and reduce blood flow to your brain tissue. Over time, this constant yo-yo effect is similar to tapping a hammer repeatedly on fragile glass. Eventually, something will give way under the pressure. Frank experienced what is medically called a transient ischemic attack, or TIA, which is essentially a mini stroke. His speech became slurred for approximately 2 minutes, then returned to normal. He assumed it was just a strange fluke and nothing serious. I had to deliver the difficult truth to him. His daily supplement that was meant to help his heart health was quietly harming his brain instead. Frank is definitely not alone in this dangerous situation. Many seniors take high-dose niacin without even realizing they are consuming it. They purchase flush-free or extended-release forms online, thinking these versions are automatically safer for consumption. However, even those supposedly safer versions can still raise blood pressure, trigger atrial fibrillation, and negatively affect blood sugar levels. Here is what you absolutely need to know for your safety. For older adults, anything above 50 milligrams of niacin per day should only be used under strict medical supervision. If you have high blood pressure, heart rhythm issues, or are taking any medications, please check your supplement labels carefully and thoroughly. Frank is now completely off niacin supplements. He is recovering well with no permanent damage detected. However, he told me something I will never forget. Doctor, I thought I was doing everything right for my health. I did not know I was essentially gambling with my brain. So, now that we have walked through 5 common vitamins, each with the power to quietly harm brain health, you might be asking yourself, what should I take instead? Or better yet, what should I eat? Let us talk about real food, the kind that protects your brain naturally without these dangerous risks. By now, you might be wondering, if these vitamins can be risky for my health, what should I do instead? It is an excellent question because the truth is, your body was not originally designed to run on pills and synthetic supplements. It was built to thrive on real food, whole, natural, nutrient-rich food that your brain recognizes, absorbs easily, and uses in just the right proportions for optimal function. Let me tell you about Mrs. Margaret Wilson and her transformation. She is 73 years old, a retired school principal from Arizona. When I first met her, She pulled out a drawer completely full of supplements. There was vitamin D for bone health, vitamin E for heart support, B-complex for energy, niacin for cholesterol, a multivitamin, and several others specifically for brain support. I am doing everything right, doctor, she said confidently. However, she was feeling dizzy in the mornings consistently. Her balance was noticeably off, and her blood pressure kept climbing higher despite her efforts. Something was clearly not adding up correctly. So, we did something that might seem radical. We cleared the clutter completely. One by one, we removed the pills and replaced them with wholesome food. There was no magic diet involved, no fancy program to follow. Just simple whole foods consumed at the right time in the right combinations for maximum benefit. Here is what her new breakfast routine looked like every morning. 1 boiled egg for clean, complete protein. Half an avocado, rich in healthy, brain-supporting fats. A slice of whole grain toast for slow, steady energy release. A handful of blueberries loaded with brain-protective antioxidants. A full glass of room temperature water to properly hydrate the brain. Sometimes she added a few walnuts or almonds for extra nutrition. That was it completely. No powders, no pills, just real food. Real, recognizable, nourishing ingredients. Within just a few weeks of this simple change, Margaret noticed a significant difference in how she felt. Her dizziness gradually faded away, her blood pressure stabilized at healthy levels. Her energy returned naturally throughout the day. She told me her mind felt clearer than it had felt in years. Here is exactly why this approach worked so effectively. Your brain needs proper hydration, healthy fats, consistent fuel, and micronutrients in their natural form for optimal function. It does not need mega doses of isolated compounds. It needs balance and harmony. Some of the best foods for older adults include leafy greens like spinach and kale, which are rich in folate and protective antioxidants. Fatty fish like salmon or sardines are full of omega-3 fatty acids to protect brain cells from damage. Berries provide polyphenols that reduce harmful inflammation. Nuts and seeds supply vitamin E, magnesium, and brain-healthy fats. Whole grains help keep blood sugar stable and support healthy circulation. Remember, these foods do not just protect your brain function, they support your heart, bones, mood, and mobility simultaneously. You are not just eating for sustenance, you are healing your entire body with every single bite you take. This brings us to our final wake-up call. Awareness is truly the best medicine available to you. At this stage in your life, every choice you make matters more than ever before. The truth is, it is not necessarily the pills you take, but what you understand about them that truly protects you from harm. Your body at 60, 70, or 80 years old does not process supplements the same way it did decades ago when you were younger. Even well-meaning habits like taking vitamins can quietly backfire if you're not careful and informed about the risks. That is why awareness is your most powerful medicine for protection. You do not need to fear vitamins completely, but you absolutely do need to respect them and understand their effects. Read the labels carefully and thoroughly. Ask your doctor questions and listen carefully to your body, especially when it whispers subtle warnings to you. If any part of this video spoke directly to you, please tell me in the comments section. What is one change you will make starting tomorrow morning? If you found this information helpful and valuable, give it a like to help other people find it as well. Please subscribe to Balance Health so we can continue learning, growing, and staying strong together on this journey. You are not alone on this path, and you are never too old to take back control of your health and well-being.